earlier this month, South Korea's Unification Ministry released a comprehensive report on North Korea's economy and society. It's the first time the ministry is releasing data that's been kept confidential for over a decade. And the minister, Kim Yung-ho, says it's Kdramas that are driving young people in the North to want to defect. Our correspondent, Kim Jung-sil, is here in the studio. Welcome back, Jungsil.
Thanks for having me, Dami.
So, Jungsil, you did sit down with the minister, Kim Yung-ho. How did that go?
Well, Dami, I got a chance to talk with him in person and ask for details about the report on the reality of North Korean economy and society based on the testimonies of 6,351 North Korean defectors. So it was very meaningful. Now, first, let's listen from the minister about why the report is important.
The report is the first public survey on North Korean residents that the ministry has ever conducted. It is comprised of interviews with North Korean defectors on the regime's economy and society. It's important to understand North Korea's poor human rights situation and security issues, as both cannot be separated. To bring righteous changes in North Korean society would help not just its residents, but also help bring peace on the Korean Peninsula, Northeast Asia, and the world.
So, like you mentioned, the report contains voices of over 6,000 defectors. Is there any trend that stood out or, became apparent from those stories?
Yes, Dami. Well, the South Korean dramas and TV series have captured a global audience, but the report suggested there were also those watching in secret and in hiding in North Korea. Now, fans in other countries may admire the unique plots and dramatic twists, and of course the actors, but for some people in the North, watching K-dramas led them to a decision that could cost them their lives.
The report suggests that more than 83% of North Korean defectors watch South Korean dramas when they were in the North. When they watch South Korean dramas, they can feel that South Korean society is free and wealthy. And the reality of South Korea in these dramas is different from what the North regime has brainwashed its people to believe.
Jungsil, then I have to ask you, and I'm sure a lot of our viewers are wondering, which dramas did they actually watch?
Right. Dami, the minister said Stairway to Heaven, My Love from the Star, and Autumn in My Heart were among those frequently mentioned. Not only are K-dramas giving North Korean residents a more realistic view of South Korea, but they're also creating doubts in the residents against the regime. Take a look at this next graph. 56.3% of respondents who have recently defected said they feel negative about the line of succession that keeps power within the Kim family. This is an increase of around 20% from before Kim Jong-un took power. The spread of South Korean dramas actually poses such a threat that back in 2020, Pyongyang made a stricter law that bans people from watching it. Those caught sharing K-dramas could now even face the death penalty. The report added monitoring and surveillance have become even harsher, while the quality of life has lowered. 7 out of 10 people said they haven't received any food rations since Kim took power. I asked the minister where he thinks the North is heading at this point.
I think if the Kim Jong-un regime does not give up on developing nuclear and missile programs, it will fall into a military dilemma. If the regime keeps spending its resources on nuclear and missile development, the economic hardships within North Korea will get worse. And people's feelings will be against the regime even more.
Last but not least, Jungsil, I want to ask you about the recent developments in what appears to be an attempt by the North to boost, relationship between Pyongyang and Tokyo. Back on February 15th, the leader Kim Jong-un's sister Kim Yo-jong released a rare statement saying a possible summit between North Korea and Japan could be on the table under certain conditions. What's going on?
Right, Dami, we need to note that the statement came a day after South Korea had established diplomatic ties with Cuba, North Korea's longtime friend. And also Kim Yo-jong, who works as her brother's de facto spokesperson, added Prime Minister Kishida's visit can happen as long as Japan doesn't bring up issues related to Japanese abductees and the regime's nuclear and missile programs. Now, these are conditions that the Japanese government has already announced it cannot comply with. Pundits also say Kim Yo-jong's statement is aimed at driving a wedge between South Korea, the U.S., and Japan, but Minister Kim said this won't happen.
The trilateral cooperation system between South Korea, the US, and Japan has never been more concrete since the Camp David summit last August. North Korea would never be able to get to Washington and Tokyo without going through Seoul.
All right, Jungsil, thank you for the report today.
Pleasure is all mine, Dami.